your partnership in this work. Together, we are building the I thank you all for having me today. I thank Pastor Dennis. And I thank this community for being open to have this conversation. It is something that we must not end today with, that we must have a continued conversation about the many things that all of us in this room are working on. And that's why you're here today. Yep. We got to get to those who aren't here today. Yep. We got to get to those who may not understand. And we really have to get to those who we know we need to be involved. Thank you all so much, and I hope that this program blesses all of you today and catapults you into action. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so very much, Representative Gina. Thank you so much. Let us choose care over chaos. Is what I took from what she just said. Let us all choose care over chaos. Yeah. Is what I took. Thank you so much. Yeah. Next on our list for remarks will be Dr. Eric Ed. Is he here? Is Dr. Eric? Is he here? Okay. Chief James Cadden.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Very true words by Rep. Curry, a strong ally in our community and a great representative. We've had the pleasure of working with her many times in the past. And I'd like to thank Reverend Solomon and all the dignitaries who invited us to be here. As a small community, which East Lansdowne is, we really believe that one of our greatest strengths is one of our, what people oftentimes see as one of our greatest weaknesses, which is our size. That we're a small community versus some larger municipalities or cities around here. But to me, the opposite is absolutely true. Our greatest strength is our size, that we can care for our community members and address problems before they arise in most cases. So, this is one of those things where I'm prepared remarks are about all I have to offer today. This is the first time I've actually heard of AFA, but I'm absolutely inspired by what I see, and I'm so happy to be here. With me today is Officer Rashida Horn, a veteran member of the East Lansdowne Police Department. And she is currently on duty as we speak, so she's protecting this great community. And I guess to hit the issues that Gina, Rep. Curry had mentioned is something that's near and dear to our heart. It's something that we see and feel every day, and that is that if families were stronger, if families had resources, members, community members, neighbors, religious organizations to reach out to, or even government officials, police, and many other entities. The truth is that, violence could be prevented in the home before it ever becomes an issue. And I truly believe, after 35 years of doing this job, that if more homes were structured, I don't know what the right adjective is, but if there was more attention in the home, with a stable home, stable two-parent system, the police department, you could probably cut them in half. Yeah. It's not good to say for our occupation, but it is true. Police are not your ultimate savior. We're an agents of the government. Our job is to enforce laws, protect lives, and keep civil order. That is our job. There's a lot of myths out there now, of course. And unfortunately, some of those myths, they exist in all corners of society. but I guess I can speak to my relations with the African community, immigrant community. We have quite a few religious organizations and social organizations in this area that that involve African migrants, folks coming to this country for the first time. And I guess the only advice that I could give to them would be a view from my perspective, and that is that when you come here from another country, be it Africa or anywhere else, what you bring with you is what you know from your home and what you probably saw in the news media or in movies about this country. And that same would also apply to the police. This is not always the best source of information. The truth is that the moment you step foot on American soil, regardless of your status, green card, work visa, whatever it may be, full citizenship, you have all the rights, all the privileges, all the dignitaries and freedoms, and I do mean that, freedoms, that I possess. I was born here. My parents were born here, their grandparents, on and on. I'm no different than you. The moment you come here, that's what makes this country so beautiful. Anyone who tells you otherwise or tries to make you believe that, they're part of the problem. Because of the nature of our job, and I guess this is probably, if there were to be an overriding message, that would be it. Because the nature of our job is to enforce laws, because only through laws and strong community and ethics can you have something that could be described as civilization. Without laws, well, you can just name a place. And we certainly don't want that here. So this is what allows for prosperity and freedom. Now, my profession has not always had bright and shining moments, like any profession. We do have some things to atone for in the past. However, the past is the past, and today is today. And as the chief administrator of this police department, I can assure you, each and every one of our officers, every time they come on duty and they call in service on the radio, they go out on the street and work. Their goal is your safety. Their goal is the peace and prosperity of this community. And that's it. They literally have no other goals. Some people will see us enforcing traffic. Some people will see us, unfortunately, making a custodial arrest. And those things don't always look so pretty, but that's what accountability is. And then, of course, the overriding theme, as it is not many other, I should use that word, is that here you are innocent until proven guilty. And it is not exactly an easy thing to prove guilt. So, that's the one thing I would say. As far as, I was asked to speak a little bit about crimes that specifically affect the African community. And I would say that's kind of easy to do because it's the same thing that affects many other cultural community organizations and persons of diversity. Our seniors get affected by this very same crime. A lot of migrants, regardless of what country they're from, are affected by identity theft. When folks first come here to this country, oftentimes the language is, obviously secondary. The cultures, the norms, the laws, the banking systems and finance works, the way government-funded assistance agencies work, can be very confusing. And the result in that is that scammers will oftentimes go out of their way, target members of the African community, the Caribbean community, and so forth. They do with others as well. We see quite a bit of the identity fraud is either senior citizens, migrants, probably less so from Europe because the language is the same and normally the banking systems and the credit systems are the same. But that's the one thing that I would like to ultimately provide Reverend Solomon with is some documentation, and perhaps some handouts with some information, about that and how to prevent it, how to be on guard for it, because it is very important. it can absolutely devastate someone's life. You're just trying to get started here, or you've been here for a while and starting to make something, financially of yourself, and then along comes a scammer that convinces you to do something you should ought not to have done. This can devastate a person's life. And so yeah, this is my first go here with the AFA, and I'm so happy to be here. Honestly, I wish I had known about this organization earlier. I think your goals, your purpose are noble. I plan to take this information and put it on the police department website so that all persons can see it on our social media. And yeah, maybe next time I'll come with some more prepared remarks. I'm kind of spitballing right now, but I'll go ahead and give up the microphone to the next speaker. And we're going to be on hand here for just a little bit. I think Officer Horn may have to go and patrol and protect, but I'll be here for a little bit to answer any questions if you have any. And like I said, I think next time we'll be a little more squared away. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ed. Okay. A few questions before he leaves. If you have any, he's ready. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our chief. Dr. Ed, thank you so much. The police is not our savior, but the police is here to protect lives and property and to enforce laws. So again, domestic violence or violence of any kind such is everybody's business. So we want to call next on our agenda, Isabella Moore. Ms. Moore, Domestic Abuse Project.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Sibylla Moore. I'm with the Domestic Abuse Project of Delaware County, also known as DAP. Has anyone heard of DAP before? I see some nods, some no's. That's very fair. If you are familiar, it makes my heart happy. If you aren't, that's what I'm here to talk about today. Before I launch into our services, I just want to say the overwhelming message that I care about you knowing today is that no survivor of domestic violence is ever alone. Can everyone say that back to me, please?
No survivor. Say that again.
I'll do it one more time. I got you. No survivor is ever alone.
No survivor is ever alone.
Thank you. No matter someone's gender, race, ethnicity, no survivor is ever truly alone. And in those moments of experiencing various types of violence, whether it's emotional, verbal, physical, it can be one of the most lonely, shame-filled, anxious moments a person can experience. But that person is never truly alone. In Delaware County, DAP has existed since 1976, and we provide a litany of services that are all free and confidential to any survivor of domestic violence. So I'm going to go into a list of things that we do, but I wanted to say that at the top because truly, beyond the list of things we do, that is the message I want everyone to leave with today. So at DAP, we have a 24/7 hotline that can be called any day of the week, any hour of the day by anyone. So if you're a survivor and you just want to talk to someone about what you've been experiencing and maybe think about next steps or safety planning, someone will be there anytime to talk to. If you have a friend or a family member that's going through something, if you do work in which you come into contact with survivors, which can be incredibly common, seeing as in Pennsylvania specifically, about 37% of women and 30% of men experience domestic violence in their lifetime. But if anyone wants to call our number, whether it's because they're going through something or they have someone that's going through something and they want advice on how to support them, we're there to listen. So it's a hotline, but in many ways it's also a warm line. You're okay, no worries. We also have an emergency safe house. So if someone is in immediate fear for their life and they have nowhere else to go, they can call that hotline and start talking about getting access to a safe house. So they have somewhere where they feel safe, where they can go, and if needed, they can take their children as well. I always say I wish we had a mansion, and if anyone wants to give me a massive check today, I'll do it tomorrow. So I always say we take in as many families or as many people as we can, but there are limits sometimes. We try our best to refer to other resources outside the county or within to support everyone. We also have an advocacy department, so we have 2 satellite offices, both in Upper Darby by the police office, as well as in Chester. So we usually have advocates there that people can come to if they want accompaniment, they just want to talk to someone, if they want accompaniment during a police interview or anything of that sort. I always say call ahead though, because we are a small agency, we're small but mighty, but they might be off helping someone else that time, so just call ahead if you're using the satellite offices. Otherwise, our advocacy department helps with civil matters and criminal. So if you are a victim and you want accompaniment or support, we're there to do that. If you want to fill out to get a PFA, which a PFA is a fancy word for restraining order. I don't know why Pennsylvania has a different name for it, but we do. But it's called a PFA if you want help filling out that paperwork, if you want help filling out address confidentiality, if you want help filing for victims' compensation, we can help walk you through that process. Because I know, at least for me, when I see paperwork, my head spins a little, and I do this work. So it's always really nice to have someone to kind of walk you through and make it a little less overwhelming when you're going through an already incredibly overwhelming time. We also have short-term counseling as well as crisis counseling. So people can walk into our offices and media from about 9 to 3 on weekdays and talk to someone immediately about what they're going through and do some goal planning. Additionally, people can ask to get enrolled in short-term counseling. And this counseling exists for survivors that want to talk through goal planning, what they're feeling, and immediate psychoeducation around those emotions. We also have short-term counseling for children who witness the abuse. So not children that are being abused themselves, but for children that are seeing their parent or caregiver go through an incredibly intense abusive relationship, and they might be struggling to feel attached to that parent or to identify their own emotions that they're going through. We also do short-term counseling for those children. We also have legal services. So again, anyone have a big check? I'd love to add 20 more attorneys to our team. But right now we have attorneys that help with PFA representation. We also are starting to branch. We just had a new hire, so we're hoping to branch into custody and child support cases as well to provide support there. We also aid in relocation and housing services. So for instance, if someone's trying to regain self-sufficiency but is having a little bit of trouble getting there, we can help with first, last month's rent and security deposits. If someone came to Delaware County but they're from Minnesota and they just want to get home to their family because that's where they feel safe, we come to us and we can try our best to help you in achieving that as well. Outreach is what I do, so I always say I will go anywhere and talk about domestic violence, about what we do, about early intervention like we were talking about before. So the youngest I think I've worked with is a 6-year-old at a library where he just read books about healthy relationships and healthy connection and setting boundaries with friends, partners, anything like that. I've also gone and spoken about women's history and the domestic violence movement with the Daughters of the American Revolution, which I didn't ask any of those women their ages, but a little bit farther from 6. And we also have our thrift store called Thrift and Thrive, which is in Drexel Hill. And all the proceeds, whether you're donating clothes there or shopping there, go directly back to survivors. So for instance, if someone's moving out of our safe house and they don't feel comfortable living by themselves, they'd feel more comfortable if there was a Ring camera or some level of extra security. We can go to our thrift store, ask them to buy something that a survivor needs, and since those funds can be a little bit more flexible, it can go directly to supporting that survivor with whatever need that comes up for them. The last thing I wanted to leave off on, and it'll be on my table if anyone wants to come check it out as well, is the power and control wheel. So I know the font's kind of small up here, but this was a tool that was made by survivors for survivors of domestic violence and details tactics that people who choose abuse were using across all types of diverse backgrounds or experiences. And this can be an incredibly validating tool for people that are experiencing domestic violence, because we can see violence in the communities, we can see violence in our families that our friends are experiencing, but we don't want to approach survivors and tell them, I'm seeing what's happening, you need to do this. They're already having so much choice and agency stripped from them every day that it's our job when we come in contact with survivors to let them regain that agency in any way possible. And sometimes that just looks like showing them this and letting them choose for themselves that aspect of isolation really resonates with their experience, or the coercion and threats or emotional abuse listed on this really resonates with them. And that can prompt them to, for themselves, choose to seek services or support or healthy boundaries or relationship aspects. And to end it on a positive note as well, it's not all just about abuse and violence, but also seeking out what's good, what's healthy, what's supportive. So on the back of this, I also have the equality wheel that outlines traits that show up in healthy relationships and what we can seek to. So we're not just moving away from violence and abuse, but we're moving towards something that is healthy for all of us. So thank you all for listening and inviting me today. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Moore. Thank you so much. So she has a lot in store. Please meet her if you need to know more concerning domestic violence. Thank you so much, Ms. Moore. We are happy to have you here. So we want to be calling next the Rising Hope for Change. Rising Hope for Change.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin, and I'm the program officer at Rising Hope for Change. At Rising Hope for Change, we are committed to building a safer, stronger, and more resilient communities through a multi-phase approach that addresses critical social issues. Our ongoing initiatives focus on leadership and advocacy, gun violence prevention, community outreach, trauma awareness, and racial equity. Empowering individuals to create lasting change. RHFC, that is Rising Hope for Change for short, is equipping youth and community members with the skills and confidence to become leaders and advocates for change. Through mentorship programs, leadership workshops, and civic engagement training, we are preparing individuals to tackle systematic changes, influence policies, and drive meaningful progress in their communities. We believe that leadership starts with education, empowerment, and action, and we are proud to nurture the next generation of change makers. Gun violence prevention. Gun violence continues to threaten of our neighborhoods. We all know that. And RHSC is actively working to address these crises. Through partnerships with law enforcement, the Philadelphia District Attorney Office, and the local organizations, we provide gun violence prevention workshops that educate youth in the dangers of firearms, legal consequences, and conflict resolution. Our programs also include intervention initiatives to support at-risk youth in choosing positive alternatives and avoiding cycles of violence. We usually host workshops and trainings where we try to get youth involved, talk to them, try to get them active, especially during non-school hours, so that way their minds are not drafted or their attentions are not drafted to things negatively, and we try to get them engaged in things that will push their mind to things that are positive for the community. Because as we all know, our idle mind is a devil workshop, like we say. When people are less busy, they tend to do things that are not necessary, and that brings not a good result as a community. Community and state collaboration. We believe that change happens when communities come together. RHFC actively collaborates with local schools, faith-based organizations, law enforcement agencies, and community leaders to create partnerships that drive sustainable solutions. Whether it's through neighborhood revitalization projects, community cleanups, or resource fairs, we are fostering collaboration and collective action to address violence, poverty, and systemic inequalities. We also talk about trauma awareness and education workshops that we host. We discuss racial equities and how to deal with stress and trauma, which is something that is very important within our community. There are a lot of people who experience stress in their daily lives. Trauma, people are suffering from trauma, and this is not talked about more frequently or often as we should. And you will be surprised to know that even the kids, the youth that we usually work with, they have so much to say during our meetings. And I think these are things that we need to address more so that way we can have a healthy community. Because if we have people who are stressed, people who have experienced trauma and are just living in this trauma, they tend to react to things differently. And that is not a positive thing. Back there, we do have some materials that we get from PDPH, that's the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. They have information on mental health, especially in older adults, and all of those things. Rising Hope for Change recently started an initiative where we're trying to include digital literacy for older adults. So you can always feel free to reach out to us. Our website is info@rhsc.info. We are also located in Darby, that's 3 Chester Park, Darby, PA. We have a Philadelphia office also, that's South 58th Street, Philadelphia 19042. So thank you for your time, and it has been a pleasure being here today.
Thank you so much to Rising Hope for Change. That's another information to just share, a lot of information. So if you need help, also reach them. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, right now? Okay, so right now we'll be calling our Bishop Haker. He's next on our agenda concerning the church's perspective when it comes to domestic violence. Bishop Haker.
What we are truly grateful. I recognize the board chairman of the Liberian Minister Alliance, our own Reverend Dr. Moses Swadenis. He's our board chairman. I'm here with the mandate of the executive secretary, executive president, executive director. We just have the name changed. So he just came back from Norway and very engaged with so many activities, helping to build churches. So he's aware of my presence here, and he sent his greeting and his love for all of the delegates here at this important workshop. LMADV is an alliance of over 80 churches. We call it LMADV, the Liberian Ministers Alliance of the Delaware Valley. So our spiritual jurisdiction is the state of Pennsylvania, the state of Delaware, and Suffolk, New Jersey. However, since a couple of years, we have been expanding. So we have spiritual a relationship with churches in New York now, in Northern Jersey, New Jersey, and in Virginia and Maryland. We hope to cover the length and breadth of America. So what do? As a relationship of pastors and churches, our main focus is to build stronger partnership with all of the churches and all of the organizations. We truly believe that when we work together, we can achieve more. When we work together, we do achieve more. Today, we are talking about violence. So we are in a crush of the issue of violence, because when people are abused, when they are going through trauma in our community, the first place they go to, either to a pastor or to a church. Before we offer professional help and ask them to seek institutional assistance, we provide the comfort and care for those who are victims of domestic violence or whatever violence. This year has been extremely challenging for us since a couple of years, now 2 years. We have a lot of people within our community who have lost children to gun violence. One of them, every time we have to offer spiritual help, since his son was mercilessly killed, today he's so depressed. He was so close to his son. We have to encourage him, We have to pray along with him. We have to care for him. So we just want to appreciate all of you, all the different organizations who are involved, who are on the front line in your own area, helping to reduce violence in the home or reduce violence in our society. So we truly believe that as we work together, we'll be able to promote a culture of peace and respect. As the RMDV, we are committed to supporting all initiatives that addresses the root cause of violence and foster a safer and compassionate society. Violence is a complex issue that affects every individual, families, or community worldwide. It is a stark reminder that our work is far from over. But I truly believe, the LMDV believe that together we can create a world where violence is no longer tolerated or accepted. Can you say that? Can you say amen with me on that one? Amen. Look at neighbor, say neighbor, we can work together to create a world or a community where violence is no longer tolerated or accepted. I will have to say, emotionally, a couple of years ago, we lost a beautiful young lady in Derby. I know we can't stop violence, but there's a culture within our immigrant community where we know someone is being abused, but we will cover it, and sometimes we say, let's pray to God, let God will change the person. Or you can't take the point to the police because it's going to have other consequences that we don't intend. So we try to cover it and try to pray to it. I've been serving as a pastor for 26 years. I've never seen someone who is violent except the Holy Spirit arrests them that will change without professional help. This young girl, the family said, oh, let's pray. He's going to change. They cover it until one day this man came and butchered the girl in her own house and killed her. At the funeral, those who were saying, oh, we shouldn't call the police. What would they say? She already dead. And so many of our people live with abuser. And all we can say, oh, let's pray God will change that person. You are not doing them any help. If you can recommend professional help or let law enforcement come involved, we have a policy in our church, especially as we relate to leaders. If you are someone that is domestic, violent person, you can't even be a leader in our church. You're a pastor, you are no more a pastor. Because this is very, very important. And so many people are falling victim. As the RMDV, we want to encourage continued collaboration with all these stakeholders. Where available, I'm going to take enough information. And as I said to Reverend Solomon, thank you very much. Our year, the last time this initiative was launched, and yet today, because we truly believe in what you are doing, what this organization is doing. And during our spring conference coming up on the 19th, we are inviting you again. We're going to give you space. We believe we'll have a lot of pastors during our spring conference. And we want to give you an opportunity to speak on this issue. And we want to continue to collaborate with you guys as it relates to violence. And I thank God you brought the police. One of the things we've really been to the churches, for all church or all of our churches to have relationship with the police and have physical protection, camera and things like that can provide safety to the church environment. Again, I'm very grateful for this initiative, and thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless you. Let's have a wonderful time.
Thank you so much, Bishop Hager. Thank you so much. Concerning the church, report violence. No matter who it comes from, report violence. It's important. The sooner the better. You heard it from the bishop. Amen. We will not allow, will not encourage it. No way the church will accept violence. So report violence as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Bishop Hager. We want to recognize Dr. Eric. He just came, so Dr. A, we called you earlier, but you wasn't here, so we want to call you now for remarks.
Yes. 5 minutes, good. Oh, no, less than that.
Welcome, Dr. A.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, all. Good morning. Good. I'm glad that I see my dear friend from LRTN TV here, the great partner in what we are doing regarding violence prevention and any program that we have. I want to greet you, and as a Christian, also greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Give us, the strength to wake up this morning. This program is very important to us. Very important in the sense that violence and gun violence is also impacting our communities a lot. Last month, I believe, there was another session in here, and then our own Jonah was here. I couldn't make it, but Jonah was here just as an example of how much, violence and this gun violence is, we are not immune to it, if we want to say that. It impacts our communities a lot in many regards. So at the Coalition of African Communities, Africom, we have implemented this program since 2022. The first phase, we focus on children. And we work with the Salon Soccer Academy for Kids, whereby creating a safe space for children to be away from anything, substance abuse, gun violence, and all that. We did that for 2 years, and then with the state funding, we were able to get another batch of funding to this time work and focus on our parents and adults. So and this is what we are doing. So I want to commend the Fifth Lutheran Church, Reverend Sua, Reverend Moim, and all of you for consistently doing that over the year. Our hope is to request an extension of that program, which will take us all the way to the end of the year. And another hope is that we need something that is missing in the African immigrant community, is that an immediate response team. And one of the deliverables that, Reverend Sua, we need to have at the end of this program, with others that were implemented everywhere, as community leaders, faith-based leaders, we need to have this first response team for ourselves. So that whenever there is this kind of violence that occur, we will be the first one to intervene and guide the victims, toward the resources that are available. This is our goal, and I want to thank you for taking your time this Saturday to be here, but we are in this thing together. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much to Dr. Eric. His goal is to have an immediate response team. So please take note to all of us that are here. As we said earlier, the sooner the better when it comes to violence. So next on our agenda, we want to call our own Reverend Dr. Moses Swat Dennis, the Executive Director for All Agency.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. I put in the WhatsApp group this morning, it's a gorgeous day, and we are here for a worthy cause, a life-giving cause. Amen? Amen. So I'm going to be very, very brief. Like Dr. Eddie said, we are doing this as community leaders because, like the police chief said, most of us come to this country and where we come from, the way things are done are different from the way things are done here. Somebody said the person who has the solution to any problem is closer to the problem, or the person who the problem affects the most. So problems affecting African and other immigrants are best solved with the help of African immigrants who are closer to the problems. So Dr. Eddie, I really love your thought about creating your first response team. Africom, AFA, the Liberian Ministerial Alliance of the Delaware Valley, and all of our stakeholders that are here. We will make sure that happens. And I'm so excited some of the information that was provided about some of the resources that exist for people who need help. And I know a lot of people as a pastor who need help. And trust me, I'm going to be sending a lot of people your way. Because I heard some very, very important issues. The church tries, but we don't have all of the resources. So church and state are separated, but we complement each other's work to serve our people. So thank you for being here. If you did not have any information from our sister from Delaware County, Delaware County is, how do you say the word, Packard?
Domestic Abuse Project.
Domestic Abuse Project. This is very, very essential because they say the people who abuse the most are people who have been abused. And abuse is like a form of illness. It can be treated. And like Bishop Hagar said, sometimes some things don't require prayers. We are human beings. From my persuasion, they say we have a body, soul, and spirit. We are a tripartite being. The church can take care of the spiritual part. But there are some things that are mental. And that is not the area of the church. That's where we need those kind of organization and agency to help heal. And being here as a pastor, I see children who come here affected from very young. But the early intervention turned those children life around. The daycare director, Ms. Barbara, is here. She is a witness. Some children come here, don't know how to function, don't know how to control themselves with a lot of violence. Because that's all they see in the home. But here they spend a lot of time with us and they see another way and those children change for the better. So as I was thinking of what to tell to all of us this morning is that sorry our representatives are gone and the police chiefs are gone. But my message to them, which will take to them, is that we have to invest in preventing violence from the very early stage. From preschool. Because the child who just, a 15-year-old child who just shot another 15-year-old child, that child, if they were helped from small, they were not going to take that life that is gone forever. So, like we say in Liberia's colloquial, they say the thing that affects the mouth is not only affecting the mouth, but it can affect everybody. So, like I say, violence is not one person's business. Because tell me what, if you have a violent perpetrator as your neighbor or with your children in the school, you are not immune. So you cannot say my children or I am not violent, so I have nothing to do with violence. Violence is all of us problem. And as a church, as community-based organization, we want you to know you have a role to play. All for all. That means that everybody has something to give or everybody can receive somebody. So those of you who may not be able to talk here, we are going to have group section where we'll share some of our ideas on this thing because we are going to do it for 6 months. We started in January to the end of June. But like Dr. Eddie said, our hope is that we'll continue this for a long haul because violence is real and it is next door, or it could be that child sitting next to your child in school, or it could be the child that your son or daughter may end up in relationship with tomorrow. So now is the time to work and to act. So thank you for being here. I'm not going to take a lot of time. Please interact with each other, hear from each other when that time comes. Put your ideas together, and we're going to take this idea to continue this adventure that us. Thank you for being here. And I'm a preacher. They said don't give a preacher a microphone because he can take long. I want to say as the executive director at EFA for now. Thank you very much and all of the team that are making this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, our preacher. We still got time for lunch break, so we will be calling 1 or 2 more other person. And I want to call my own boss, our director for the Faith Worship Daycare, Ms. Barbara Harris, actually, she has something to tell us concerning violence. You know, she worked with 60+ kids, so she started to tell the kids as soon as possible, as he said, the sooner the better. So, small as they are, we tell them about violence. So you want to hear from our director right now. A few words. Thank you very much. Your time for boss lady, else they will not have no lunch.
Good morning to the theme is be the change. Be the change. Parents, whatever violence that occur at home, it affects our children. It doesn't matter what age they are. And as a daycare educator, there's the common challenge that we have every day within the center. Sometimes, most of the time, you ask the kids, they will be like, oh, mommy said this or daddy said this. And sometimes you don't even ask them. Especially when they watch something at home, they come in explaining. And that can have a great impact on them. And since I became a child mental health specialist, I noticed that a whole lot is having a great change with the kids. We have a lot of them and we stay struggling with them. And sometimes you tell the parents about this, they just table it there. Oh, don't mind him, probably he didn't sleep well last night. She didn't sleep well last night. That's why she's cranky. No, it's what we the parents did at home. And the child bring it out in the public. They bring it out and sometimes they explain in details. Maybe most of the parents do not know. And right now we having like, I think 2 or 3, right? One main one is a real big challenge. You will tell the parents and the parents will say, oh, he's just acting this way. But it's a serious thing. Their child will come and say, oh, mommy, you know what daddy told me, Miss Barbara? That I'm a bad kid. When I go to mommy and mommy said this, now when you invite the parents, you invite the daddy and you invite the mommy, both of them, they are not like that. And the child will come and say, oh, this weekend I was at mommy's house, so I learned this from dad. It's a challenge, and the kids sometimes when the kids walk in there, right, if they say today they will not listen, God, they won't listen. They will be completely up. So we as the parents, the change that we want out there, it should start with us. Because like I always tell the parents, I say we as a Black community, we try to avoid our kids growing up to go to prison or other places. That's why we have to continue talking with the kids, and besides that, our attitude too should show. How we behave at home should show. How we talk as a parents in front of each other, we should make sure that the kids ever to grab everything. Whatever violence behavior we display at home, the kids come up showing it. The kids, they ready to talk, especially they want to talk. They explain everything. So we should start with ourselves by being a change that we want to see out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Be the change you want to see in your child, in your neighbor, in your community. Start with you. She's very much correct. We need to be the change, okay? If you want me to change, you need to show that example so I can follow. If I tell my child, don't steal, don't lie, I got to stop doing what I do. Be that change. Don't be a violent person and think your child won't. No. The children see and copy everything. We work with kids, we know what it's like on a daily basis. It's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. So be that change, okay? Let the change start with you, as you said, and then it will impact your home, your community, and the world at large. So thank you so much. we almost at our lunchtime. By 12 o'clock, I hope the kitchen is ready for us. But before then, so we want to call back our Reverend Solomon Moore. So we're 30 minutes late. Is that what you're saying? It's time for the kitchen? 30 minutes to the kitchen. So 30 minutes to the kitchen. We got some of our men. Before I call the Reverend to close up, right? So we got 30 minutes. We want to call our council chairman. He's here. He might say something concerning violence also. And then next will be our men's president, Brother Greg. Yeah, and then hopefully by then the kitchen will be ready for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Which one? Okay. Good morning, everybody. First, I want to acknowledge your work and appreciate your time. I would like to start with this illustration. Like we said, be the change that you want to see, right? And I start with this. There was a young man in this community, and he went on the soccer field where the kids were playing games. And there was a little kid that was just, moving around, misbehaving, out of control completely. Yeah, sometimes disrespecting older folk. So this young man kept staring at this little child. And he said to himself, this child needs help. Somebody needs to come in and help this child, because this child is completely out of hand. But he didn't do anything about it. This child grew up with this habit, and he became an armed robber. Unfortunately, this child went, while this man was at work, this child went over to his house, murdered his mother and his sister. When he came home from work, he got the news that the little child that you saw on the field years ago has grown to become a monster. He's the one that ended up committing this act. He was so furious and he wanted to just grab hold of him and kill him. But as usual, the law stepped in. This kid was arrested and put in prison. And he was in prison for many years to the point where this gentleman got converted, a minister of the gospel. And soon realized this child was released. And by the time he came in contact with the child, he was a changed man. So he couldn't do what he wanted to do previously. But what is the message here? We are talking about being the change. Human problem can be by human approach, human solution, human ideas, human initiative. The change we want cannot come rolling on the wheel of inevitability, but it comes through human effort, human sacrifice, human commitment. We live in a community of human. Animal will not come and solve our problems. Violence has been existing since the creation of mankind. And it takes man effort, man commitment, man dedication to solve this problem that has torn our community apart for years. So what am I saying? Let us get involved. Let us not stand aside and look out for someone else to come and solve the problem. Our problem can only be solved by ourselves. So thank you, and let us get involved, and ask you how we go on this.
Thank you so much, our council president. Okay, lunch will be served while we stay talking. It's better that way because some of us can eat cold food. So we'll be serving, we'll be eating, and we'll still be talking about violence. So Thank you again, Brother Doty, our council president. The change is everybody's business. As he said, it comes from human, you and I.
If you want some afterthoughts, there's Joyce. She's on some water before.
Yeah, little. Absolutely.
Who we calling right now?
Great.
Great.
Then I'll
So
call.
Joyce, come here.
Okay. So we will be eating, as I said, and still be talking about violence. We've got a few more minutes to wrap it up, okay? So before I call my brother Greg, Sis Joyce, I want you to please come up because Sis Joyce, whole hands in the business, yes. Sis Joyce needs to tell us something. When you commit violence, what happens? What happens when you commit violence? We want to hear that from Sis Joyce. She has something to tell us, okay? What happens when you commit violence?
Thank you very much. I have to say I'm truly impressed by this gathering and the work that we're here trying to do together. I am not from the immigrant community. I'm not African. I'm African American, but my blood, my tie is still with the African community, and I want to make that known. This is my home. Faith Emmanuel is my home. Pastor Dennis asked me to come up because some of you may not know, I retired as a warden from the Philadelphia prison system. And one of the locations that I was responsible for housed the juveniles. By the time the young people come into the prison, they are so damaged, they are so lost that sometimes it's difficult to work with them and help them correct their behaviors. As Sister Barbara said, and as everyone else has said so far, the change has to start in the home. And the behaviors that our children see in our home are the same behaviors that they continue on the street and actually in prison. Because we had acts of violence, one child against another child, while they were incarcerated. Brother Nolden spoke about a young person who committed an act of violence, and it was observed early on. Sometimes we are so protective of our children in the wrong way. We don't like others to correct our children. It used to be in our community that if you acted out, by the time you got home, everybody up and down the street, the whole block had said something to you. And by the time you got home, you knew what was going to happen. We need to go back to some of that communal behavior again. To see a young person, 12, 13, a young person that is even too young to put into a cell with another young person is really heartbreaking. We had programs in the jail, but we shouldn't wait for someone else to change and correct the behaviors. If you wait for the jail to change your child's behavior, chances are it won't happen. So again, it is tragic to see a young person in jail, and the consequences can be very, very serious, especially when they behaviors in jail, because someone who came in maybe for shoplifting, if they get into a fight with another inmate, they could end up serving time for, unfortunately, murdering another person in jail. Our jails are not the places that we want our young people to go. So again, I commend this group. I'm truly impressed. I'm older now, I'm retired, but your children are still my children. Yeah. What happens with your children affects and impacts me. And if I don't respond, then I'm continuing to allow the behavior to happen. I'm part of the problem rather than part of the solution. So any information I can share with you, I truly would be available to talk with you again. Again, thank you very much. And this is
Thank you, Sis Joyce Adams, thank you so much. Yeah, sometimes we are very overprotective of our children in the wrong way. Especially us African parents in the wrong way. It's sad. Wow. I remember one Don Bosco principal used to say, the child you have at home is not a child in school. I remember this day because my daughter was there. My late father worked there until he passed anyways. Don Bosco, Cinco, 8th Street. He called for a meeting. She was in 4th grade, I remember. He called for a meeting. And we went that day because she was in 4th grade, my daughter. So, and we were like, no, they can't be my child, Father Jones. No, Indian man. He said, I'm telling you, I followed the kids all the way Broad Street in my robe, all in this place. I followed the kids. I followed them on the beaches. I said he was there. I mean, he used to be there, taking it off the street. Yes. And then we couldn't understand, why you in our business? Why you in our, everybody just got angry that day at the meeting. Was just so, they can't be my child, Father Jones. We all put our neck on Chabibo. He said, I'm telling you, the child you have at home is not a child in school. And that I learned that I govern myself. I learned that it's stuck in my head. So I said, that's true. You can't be, in denial. This time a child, you'll be surprised. So please, it's very important that we all take this message and run with it. Violence is everybody's business. So, Brother Greg, while we're eating, we want to hear from our men's president with what happened again. You are involved with violence. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'd like to thank Reverend Solomon for getting us started with this. It's long overdue. All that you need is just one person to stand up and say, okay, we can get started. Because someone else wants to start it, but it's just not the time or the place, or you just don't have the resources. But I would like to thank the church for being able to have a audience for him to on that platform. And you never know who you have in your midst. Wow, I never knew that about Sister Joyce. I could see it, but I never knew that about Sister Joyce. The one thing with the violence, you always say, oh, it's in North Philly. I don't have to worry about it. It's in New York, so it's far from me. I'm going to move to a nice neighborhood, and I'm going to work hard, and it happens anyway. It seems to find you anyway. This one that Reverend Pastor Moses was referring to, it hit close to home. I've driven that SEPTA bus that the violence happened on. I know plenty of kids that goes to Upper Darby that was in class with that young man. So, like I said, it comes closer and closer to home. And I would hate to say it got to touch this close for us to step up and do something about it, but hey, here we are. Nothing ever happens before time. And I appreciate everyone coming together for to prevent the violence. It always starts with the kids. You have to show that you care, not even just about your child, about your friends, kids, and that's what I love about the African community. That's what I believe is lost. Like Sister Joyce said, by time you get home, your neighbors or someone in the neighborhood already spoke to you about what you've done, and you feel bad already. And by the time you get home, you're gonna get a whipping or a lashing, a tongue lashing or something but someone else has to say it. Another voice has to be there for that child to say, you know, I don't know how many times my kids tell me, mommy and daddy doesn't know what they're talking about. They don't know. They don't understand this. But if a younger or older person, you know, closer to their age, say something, hey, don't do that. Do this. Or they see them doing something, that's what I try to instill in my kids and say, hey, get involved, talk to a younger child to go in the correct direction, and just be the change that you want to see. Be where you want. You know, like I said, you move to a nice neighborhood and you don't worry about anybody else, and that's not the way it should be. We should be able to go out anywhere without experiencing violence and fear. Oh, I'm not going to go here because this is going to happen or that could happen. And it all starts with God. And I believe if you get involved and get God in these kids' lives, there's change. And it starts there, and then you head down, trickle right down to everyone. So I thank you all. I thank Reverend Solomon for inviting us and getting together and continue to, I appreciate all the panels coming out. Like I said, we could start with the kids. We have youth that could use all those resources that you guys provide. Healthy relationships, that's exactly what, they need an example of saying, hey, my boyfriend shouldn't be talking to me like that. He shouldn't be touching me this way. He shouldn't, my girlfriend shouldn't be saying this to me or so and so. So I thank everyone for coming out today.
Thank you, Greg. Put your hands together for Greg. So, as an executive director of AFA Agency, we talk to value your voice, because as we indicated, this is going to go on for the remaining, at least for now, we have planned for another 4 more months. But we want to hear your voice. What have you learned today? What questions do you have? What suggestions do you have for this to really have the impact we wanted to have? So nobody will escape. In no particular order, but we want each of you here, we want to hear your voice. If you have been taught yet, we need to ask a question, make a suggestion, or at least say something that you have learned and what you will do with it. Amen? Because you are here, your voice is important. Like I said earlier, the person or people who have the solution to any problem are the people that are closest to the problem. And we know each of you here witnessed the violence. I've been in this church for 18 years, and just 2 years ago, next door, that Asian family, when the older brother killed his brother's wife, they had 3 children who most of our children knew. So this thing, like I said, is all of us responsibility to find solution. And so they say in the medical care, prevention is better than cure. And the whole purpose of this workshop is to help put in place preventive learning and measures. So your time, what have you learned? What question do you have? And what suggestion do you have? Who will be that first bold? 2 minutes. We're going to use the remaining 20-25 minutes because I know the program has phase 2. AFA Agency runs a full cover come Wednesday, over 100 plus people out there. We serve them food and we have places where they interact. They're going to be doing a yard sale, a lot of great stuff to raise money to continue to support the food pantry. So we're not going to keep you, and the weather is beautiful. So we're going to get out there, but we need to hear from you. So who's going to be the first if you haven't talked yet? We're going to give you the first opportunity if you haven't talked yet. What question do you have? What learnings have you learned? Or what suggestion do you have for the team as we plan this? It's going to happen every month on a Saturday in the same space with new speakers and more people. And part of my hope will be all of you will invite somebody to come next time. Who's coming next? I'm going to volunteer some of you. I'll volunteer you. Good. Thank you, Sister Francis. What have you learned? What question do you have? What suggestion do you have? So the next one to be preparing after Sister Francis.
Hello, everyone. I kind of came late, but I'm on duty anyway. But just from what I heard, it's more of awareness. From my end, I will encourage awareness. Like we are rightly saying, these things were things that we heard, but now it's in our community, it's next door, it's in our homes. So it's about time that awareness be a big part of what we are doing. And I want to say thank you to the Alpha Agency for taking the initiative, for your partners to have gotten us to this point. And I feel that the more we are aware, we will tend to learn from our resources how to prevent these things, how we can get help if we suspect anything of that nature. And like I always told people, whenever you keep stuff to yourself, you're not helping because you're not going to find a solution. Whenever you share, sometimes you may not even know the person sitting next to you is your solution. But because you have not said anything, we don't know. We can read minds. So that's one of the things I have learned here today is like making awareness, telling people what the situation is. If you see something, say something. Everything has a start. For us, we say every illness has a symptom. There is a symptom. There is a sign that tells you that something is not right. So if you notice your neighbor screaming, although small, we allow, yes, but if that loudness go to another level, say something, ask questions. So I just want to say thank you again, and I pray that whatsoever we have learned yet, we put it into use, and our society will be a safe place. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Frances. Let's put our hands together for Sister Frances. She is the president for the women department in the church. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something. Maybe that will be very helpful to families of the parents. I have a grandson that I love so much, and recently we had an experience that made me to start thinking to really monitor why he was born.
YouTube, Facebook, iPad, yeah.
Because I realized that how do you call it,
Roblox.
And the children get addicted to that, and there are features within there that he want to act what he sees.
Yep.
And some of those acting are not conducive, it's violent, and it normalizes violence. So I have to take time to really start to talk to him, because Alpha will also make him to start becoming
depressed.
So we have a compass, we have a time where when I'm home, there's no Alpha, and I really try to build in him the culture of understanding that these are acting. It's not normal. In the normal life, this don't happen. So we start to have a conversation. So I think it's an eye-opener for every parent to really understand, because this is a real complex issue. It's not going to go away, but we can help to really make our children to start understanding the danger of normalizing violence. Because this, you can imagine 14, 15-year-old just for no reason will shoot in a bus and kill another child and don't feel that it's a bad thing. These things start when they are very young. Gun and violence become normalized with what we see on the iPad and on television. As parents, we really have to sit and have a conversation and start talking to them, because we can't allow the iPad to be everything our children look at. We have to have the time where we engage with them physically. When I'm home, there's no iPad. We really got to be involved. When I'm not there, I don't know why I've been there, but I will do my part when I'm there.
So, no, that's very critical. That's one of the sources of violence. And I think in the church, I try to give some form to some parents, literally have an agreement with your child, what they can watch and what they can't watch. And you have to monitor it. You have to monitor it, because taking it away is not the solution. But how and what to watch is very, very important, because nowadays the school gives them computers, so they are always on the computer. And if you don't know the technical know-how, we have people who can help you put some parental restriction on the iPad or on the phone that will restrict them from going to certain website and watching certain things that are helpful to them. Bishop Hager, that's one of the root cause, and I'm glad you raised it. I see Sister Joy's hands up. This is the most important part. Yeah, let's talk.
I want to say I appreciate what Bishop Hager said. We have to be in our children's lives. If we're not in their lives, someone else will be in their lives.
Yep.
Someone else will be raising them.
Yep.
Someone else will be giving them direction.
Yep.
Someone else will be setting their goals.
Yep.
So as Bishop Hager said, we need to spend time with our children. Now, I know at this point, money...
White pickup truck, license plate, white pickup truck. The police will ticket you, white pickup truck. Okay, prophet is in the church. Sorry, Sister Jones, go ahead.
I know money is important, but we can't put money before our families. There are times when we need to say, you know, I may need more financially, but I have to be home.
Yeah.
I can't let my children, you know, the white children work in the morning, then I come home and go to bed, and the children are basically on their own. We cannot let our children be on their own. The only other thing I had to say is, under what is youth violence, that description is very good, but what we miss is self-harm.
Self-harm, yes.
Self-harm is an act of violence, and an act of violence sometimes as a result of a trauma, as a result of maybe someone being violent against us.
Yep.
So I think we need to make sure also when our daughters or sons are acting a little off, you know, when they're withdrawing, we need to check in with them and find what's happening. We don't want to find out later on, you know, when we go to look for them, that they're no longer.
No, that's a very critical point, and there's no need to be stigmatized. Don't be ashamed, and we know that everybody are professional because some of you have experiences where you people will label your child or people will carry the news. That's why we have professional people, we have pastors, we have the lady from the Delaware County, her information is there for find help. I think the one we are saying, if you see a problem, don't wish the problem will go away by itself. Reach out and find help. Thank you, Sister John. What else? What suggestion do you have? I'm going to give it back to the moderator to continue.
Yeah, as my sister Frances said earlier, awareness is number one. From where we come from, I was from where I come. It's hard, you know, to say something to somebody, especially when it comes to this, as you said. I don't want people to know my story. So my husband that told me my story. But, you know, as you said, seek help from the right people or the right places. Because you don't want to go to the wrong person or the wrong place and your story be all over the place. That would have you know, more. So as you rightly said, seek the right place and seek the right people when it comes to domestic violence. But let's do more awareness. Let's encourage each other because it's important. And most of us are being abused one way or the other, but we are keeping it true. I don't know who to talk to. I don't want nobody to know I've been abused, so I keep it to myself. And gradually, you don't know what will happen to you. Where we come from, we see the society where we come from. I mean, as Africans, it's tough for some of us to talk these things. Yeah, I see some of my sisters now, you know, they are braving the storm going on the news. I was just telling one of my sisters the other day that, you know, she called me. She said, go, already on Ghana radio, one of our sisters, they were just telling her story. She's very popular, she told her story. And I was one of them, I was just sharing tears behind the screen because what I heard, I was like, wow, can you imagine? She was going now, so you never know a person, a neighbor or a friend or sister is going through when it comes to this. But as I said, most of us who want to come up, we don't say anything, we are afraid, we don't know who to talk to. Because some have experience, you know, talking to the wrong people or the wrong places. So seek up from the right place and the right people. In that way, you know, it will spread and it will make a difference. Thank you so much. Anybody else? If not,
I get my spirit when I go tomorrow. I'm going to have a video with my young people. Then we want to create a peace ambassador. They want the young people. That's what drives my spirit. So within the church, every Sunday. Sunday we're getting like 35, 40 young people coming to the church. So we want to have at least among them those that we want to give them that destination to be peace ambassadors. So they are going to now work with their family because, as you said, they think that we don't understand what they're going through. I gave you an illustration where went to Greater Refuge, and the young man who is now a minister of the Greater Refuge, when he came, the parent brought him from Liberia, right? He was in a school system in high school. He used to dress up really nice, go to school. Then all of a sudden, some people started noticing the boy going to school, he had to bring his trousers down all the way to the bottom. And then the parent was very hard on him. He was not telling his parent what was going on in the school. What was going on in the school? There were some other children that noticed an African that came from Africa dressing good, so they would know them by the way they dress. And they started bullying them. Started tagging them. So they said, okay, the only way we will do, let's dress to them. We know each other, but let's dress to them. We don't want nobody to bully us, because the way we dress, they know us that we are not from here. The parents did not know. The only thing is that the parents said, but why my son dressing like this? But his parents did not know what was going on, what they were confronted with in the school. It went from one place to another place to the poor God. They started to create camp among the African immigrant children in the high school to protect each other from the other group that was attacking them. So there are things that are happening at the level that we don't know what's happening with our children.
Very important.
Very, very important. So, you know, and honestly, we as African, me number one, I'm not saying us, but when our children come to tell us any information, everybody will know. Yeah. We tell all the uncles, we tell the auntie, the calling, the blasting at them, so they don't feel safe telling us information.
Say it one more time.
Moment they open their mouth to tell us, everybody will know. Even my own daughter have told me, Daddy, no, the reason why I don't tell you anything, because everybody will call me and tell me what I just told you in private. So I just feel that you're going to expose, even if I'm having problem right now, I feel that you're going to, you will not be, even if it's a bad thing for me, because I should be the closer to my child. But then there's a distance with communication now. So other people get involved now, she confine other people. Yeah. I'm still learning, you pray for me because the other day she came to give me certain information. And when all hey, no, this one is unacceptable. It's not going to happen. No, I'm a bishop.
Sometimes they have this thing.
You know, so I'm just saying, I just put it up there because these are things that we really deal with on a daily basis. We need to create a space where our children feel safe. Even if you don't like what they want to say to you, but they should be the first person to hear what's going on in their life. Very, very important.
Yes, so very true, Bishop Hinkman. That's very, very true. We are Africans, that's true. When our children come to us with something, we want our whole village to know the interview. Sometimes it's not, from a bar, coming from a bar place, it's just that what we used to want everybody to intervene when it comes to maybe, maybe the import or the advising our child, So we get used to that in our culture, but we will work on that and hopefully we will do better and we will change and then our children be able to talk to us. Yeah, of following us. No matter what. Okay, I see somebody raise their hand, come on.
Yeah, one of the things that I see as a problem is communication.
Communication.
Parents are not communicating with kids anymore. They put them around the TV or the laptop, the tablets, the phone, and that's what communicates to the kids. And therefore, you have them following what is going on the tablets or TV or whatever, instead of them communicating with their parents. And then therefore the children go and look for other kids to communicate with who tell them to do the wrong thing, or they find some adults that they're not supposed to find, and what they communicate to them, that's what they do, and they end up, going the wrong way and all that. So I would suggest that parents start to communicate with their kids younger generation of parents are not talking to their kids. They don't know what's going on with their kids.
Yeah.
You talk to some kids and they say, don't you tell your mom? Oh, she's not listening. I told her, but she didn't hear what I say. You know, so communication is a very, very big deal in a household. So if the parents and the kids are not communicating, then it's going to break. Especially when the kids turn 12, 13, going on, parents seem to say, oh, they can take care of themselves now, so we don't have to do this and that. But we still have to be there for the kids. You know, the kids start to go out and they start to work a little bit to earn some money, and the parents think, oh, they're on their own now. No, they're still kids. You got to talk to them. You got to find out what they're watching, what they're doing on the road, who they're with on the road. I know kids that are on the road and their parents don't even know where they're at. They only know that they come in the house, they eat, they sleep. They know nothing else about the kids.
Yeah.
So communication is a very, very big deal, I think, for families, you know, to help their kids to prevent violence.
Thank you very much. And I really love the fact you emphasize communicate. Because sometimes we talk at the children. We don't listen to them.
Right.
So I think one of the tools we're going to put in our next workshop is to provide some professional people that will help us to develop our communication skills. Because as a pastor, I see that. I have some training, I know how to listen. But a lot of parents don't know how to listen. So I'm hearing you because this is a group session we are doing. So that's one of the things we really try to do, to really provide some tools that will help people communicate and listen more from the different cultural perspectives. Kudos, good friend. All of the points you are raising are good. We're going to put them to work.
In Lando, what you said before, okay, go ahead, Adam.
Oh, okay, you want to hear.
And I actually, we all are guilty and we really need help in the area. The issue of overworking ourselves, as my sister said. I know we want to build all the houses in Liberia. We want to do this and we want to do that. And because we take on so many responsibilities, we left from Africa with the passion, I got to make it in America. So people are doing 2.5 jobs. Some people 3. And if you come to if you even do 1.5 or 2, the demand of the job in America is there with absolutely no time to even engage with your children in a meaningful way. Because when you come home, you are already tired. You don't go to the child when they have PTO meeting. You are not there. When the child really needs you, you are not there. We Africans, we are all guilty of that. We must really work in creating meaningful time. Like us, my wife and I, we are very super busy. But what we have decided to do every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, we all gather in the living room and we're going to have devotion, we're going to pray, and we're going to ask everybody what's going on in your life for the week. That time, you can't take it from me. Anything happening, that's Saturday, because when I come from work, they're already sleeping. We don't have that time, and every in the morning I'm gone. You know, only on Tuesday, I'm home practically. You see, so that is something that we need to work on as parents to prevent this violence. And especially when they are getting to high school, from the middle school, there you have to be very, very mindful. They start talking to friends who are coming from dysfunctional families. You got to be very, very careful. The issue of drugs in the middle school and high school here is at a pandemic level, where your child is being exposed to someone that's taking drugs or selling drugs, and you watch your child, you did not buy them this Reebok sneakers. You see they have a $200 Reebok sneakers. Oh, my friend gave it to me. No! It's not going to happen. You don't know where they're getting the money from. They want to
other expensive things. They want to wear expensive things. And then you want to encourage them. And then we have this idea that is very, very serious. Oh, the American children. The American children are how they looking. They are not how they looking. These children are God's children. The Bible says, treating them the way they should grow. Don't say American children. You are giving them the options to mess up. And then when they get in the system and they already label them, you already going to lose your child.
Thank you, Bishop. So, we're going to wrap it up. And the purpose of doing this is to hear from each other. And we will continue to build on it. The room was not built in a day's time. But the last one Bishop made is that child is your responsibility until they turn 18. Some of us have been in the legal system. We know the in and out. So don't let anybody lie to you. Your child is your responsibility. One of my mothers said that before the police kill you, I better do what I can do before the police kill you, because I gave you life. It better I take it with dignity than for you for police better go. Because the truth be told, if you don't deal with it at home, the police don't have the patience that the police was saying. They themselves are at risk. So it's your responsibility. Your child is your responsibility. And we are here as a church, as community-based organization, to work with you. In Africa and now in the global village, we say take the whole village. Let's say George was saying in America there was a time the whole block. But so-called civilization have made us to turn away from some of our values. And we got to bring those values back. So thank you for being here. We're going to take some announcement for Dr. Eric Eddy, who is the Africom person that we are doing this in partnership with a great friend that we've been working together to serve our community for a very long time. And then after that, we'll give you a certificate of participation. And I'm praying that in future workshops, we will have some gift cards for you too, because this is very important. We want to encourage you to be here, because knowledge is power. Like I was saying, the money you hear they spend on prison, after somebody commit a crime, the money they spend on them, and they will just spend half of that money for prevention, will be a better society. So we'll continue to advocate for resources to equip you, because you are the best thing God ever made you humans, and we have to take care of each other. But Dr. Eddie, and then we'll give you a certificate of participation, and we'll be on our way.
Thank you, Rev. One more time, I want to say thank you to all those who participated. We are in there for a long ride. A few things that I want to announce. As we talk about violence, we talk about resources, we talk about things that can correlate to that. And many studies, plenty of studies show that sometimes health issues can link to that, can be related to that. Because violence can actually relate to health. When you have somebody who is a victim of violence, then we talk about what trauma. We talk about what mental issues. We talk about people being deranged or people being not at peace with themselves. All of those things are connected. In view of that, at Africom covers the entire state of Pennsylvania. So do not feel that because you are not in Philadelphia, you cannot tap into the resources that we have. Reverend Moses is there. Reach out to him if there is anything else that we can do aside from this violence prevention program. Announcement number 1. By April 15, it is tax day. Everybody knows that. But why am I talking about that? I'm talking about that because there is a child tax credit. Child tax credits. Meaning that we're eligible kids, eligible families that have filed their taxes are eligible to receive this child tax credit, which was put together to fight what? Child hunger and homelessness. It is important. We have families that are multi-structured families, right?
Yeah,
mixed families with not eligible. Do your best to reach out to them, and if they need assistance in filing their taxes, reach out to Reverend Moses. He will reach out to me. We know where to collect them. And the child tax credit, is not just for Philadelphia; it's everywhere. Africom is bringing this campaign, and we're working with Skyler Good Foundation and the city of Philadelphia with a small grant to push them. That's the first thing I want to announce. Second one, we have a program at Africom funded with by UBA We unfortunately, did not get renewed for our William Penn Foundation, funding. But we have a family that are also, let's say, going through a lot in terms of paying their bill, paying the utility bill, or even sometimes put food on the table for whatever reason. Maybe the main income earner, get injured. All of those things. You need this kind of assistance, or a family that needs that. Please reach out to us also.
Paying the bills.
Right. Paying the bills, right? It can be that we help connect with the utility company, or if it's a short of notice immediately, then we can also do something in there. Then we talk about immigration. Same thing. We can connect you to Pro Bono, a National Service Center, HIAS. We work with all those agencies. How are all those things important? They are important because sometimes the people feel helpless because the immigration thing does not work. Does that trigger some violence, domestic violence? Yes, it does. There's a Reverend Bishop talks about kids' truancy. When kids are not fed at home, when they don't eat properly, when they don't keep secure home, that also leads to truancy. All that we are doing is interconnected. So let's try to take them piece by piece in here. And I want to thank you for coming. Stabela.
Yes, thank you.
Right, Stabela for coming, because intimate partner violence is also part of what we are dealing with in there. And finally, Reverend Sua announced, as if he was reading my mind, that next time there are going to be possibly some gift certificates and all that. We'll be working on that. Yep. Right? Normally we have a budget for that, but we need to structure that. When you receive funding from, you can stop taping that.
This is not bad for the public.
Stop taping that. Okay, I'll pause. Right, pause it. That's the thing with journalists. You got to be careful about.
We'll present certificate of participation. So, Rising Hope for Change, please come get your certificate for participation. Rising Hope for Change, while Rising Hope is coming, we're going to be calling Domestic Abuse Project. The Domestic Abuse Project, come get your certificate. One for me. What's her name? Yes, we have a certificate for your presence here today. Please. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yes, for you. Thank you for coming. You're welcome. Sorry, my lesson. All right, this is a certificate for myself for being here. I appreciate it. Is that Agron Martin? AG.
Just put on the other side.
Okay. P. Gabi.
Outside.
Frederica. Gardner. Gabriel.
Yeah.
Frederick Gabriel.
I will take it for him.
James.
I will take it for you.
Okay, thank you.
He got people.
James Mulva. Is James Mulva still here?
Yeah, give it to me.
James Mulva. Michelle is one of our volunteers at the food pantry. She does a great work. Michelle, come get your certificate. Thank you. We have really appreciated your emphasis on communication. Our next workshop will focus on that a lot. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Greg Martin, our able president from our men ministry, he's also leading what we call the Law Revolution. Instead of violence, we want love in the neighborhood and in the community. And Faith Emmanuel Lutheran Church is taking partnership with the ELCA to do that. Father George Nangbe, the man who made the place look good and keep functioning. This building is 120 years old. But when you enter it, sometimes it looks like it was just 120 years ago. Yeah, this building is 120 years old. Okay. Yeah, this building was built in 1906, almost 120. Wow. Yeah. All right, thank you. George Doe, I think he left. In case you can guess it. Sis Mao Wilson, one of the powerful ushers from this great church. Come get the certificate. Thank you for being here. Know that the information you get in here, even if you don't need it, somebody will need it. Every information is powerful because you never know where you'll be. Thank you, Sister Mao. Sister Elizabeth Scott, I believe she left. Father, Minister Ernest Nolan, the able council president of this church leadership. Thank you for being here. Dr. Eddie, come here. Help me give them the certificate. We are in this together. Thank you. Sister Georgia Camo, one of our great daycare teachers from Faith Worship Daycare Center. Come get it. You work with children all of the time. That's why we wanted you to be here, because knowledge is power. Following Sister Georgia is Sister Abba Tokba, one of our child care leaders, child care center teacher. Get the certificate of participation. Sister Finta Linda, I think she's left, but Pastor Linda is here. Please come get Sister Finta's certificate of participation. Finda, is that Finda? Yeah, Fanta Linda. Following, you are next, Pastor Daniel Linda. So, ready to give him up to. I mean, Dr. Eddie gives them both to. Yes, Kevin is coming shortly. Sister Joyce, always somebody that has invested a lot into this community and congregation. I thought we are tied the these together for the rest of our time on this earth. Thank you, Sister Joyce, for being here. Julia Kakula, Mother Julia Kakula, one of our strong awesome guild, and also the shoe here at the Child Care Center. These are the people who are at the front line. We are so happy that you are able to be here today. Thank you, please. Thank you. Who next? Following Sister Julia is Frances Johnson to left. I'll make sure she gets that. Josephine Toba, she's the president for the usher of this great church, and she wears many hats. We call her mother forever in the church. So thank you for being here, Mother Josephine. The knowledge, please pass it on to others, and this certificate proves that you are here today. Thank you. Miss Christine Price, my longest serving child care worker. We've been here at this. Miss Christine, how many years now you been here?
Veteran. I think it's going on 13.
30 years, a retired school teacher, but she didn't stop teaching school. She decided, come take my picture of me. She came here to help train more children to be better citizens. Thank you, Sister Christine. Thank you. Following, Sister Christine, the able executive secretary or executive communicator for the Liberia Municipal Alliance of the Delaware Valley, who has made tremendous contribution in fostering the message I need to get out there. Thank you, Bishop Hager. Pleasure being here today. All right, our able MC, J.T. Marshall, one of our child care center teachers. She moderated this very, very well. Thank you for your good work. We appreciate you. Thank you. Following Sister JJ is Dina. Is Dina here? Dina left. We'll make sure she get it. All right, anybody? Did we miss anybody? Thank you all. Oh, okay, Brother Solomon will make sure she gets it. So the next date, I believe, will be April, the last holiday, April. When is that? April 26th, I believe. Or we'll get back into the day like Dr. Eddie said. There will be a lot of incentives for your presence, and so we'll make sure you all that are here come here, and we'll continue to equip you. Thank you, Bishop Hager.
So as we said, we are inviting you to our spring conference on the 19th. The Liberia Ministry Alliance, we do have the spring conference, and one of the things that we want to, the title of this spring conference is Developing Sustainable Legacy for Family and Ministry. Developing
sustainable legacy, and one of the things that really damage legacy is the issue of violence.
Yeah.
So we really want you to come and present what you are doing in the community. There will be time allocated for what you are doing. Will be the details will be sent to you. It's already on our.
On it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Any other announcement before we go?
So from here we can go out there. We have the yard sale of things.
All right, and share the word about the yard sale. They got some real good stuff at a very minimum cost, and you are supporting a good cause. Right. Reverend Moya, please come. He's the one in charge. He suggested that